All right. What is up, Laker fans? We are here today for the second round edition of King Watch LA. We are
Yes,
joined by notorious Laker hater TPJ, who is at the jacuzzi,
I
living
am
his
number
best
one.
life.
I am not a hater. And number two, yes, I'm in my jacuzzi right now. Rockets in 6.
Okay, so before we even talk about that series, I remember someone had a take about Portland beating the Lakers in what?
Oh, forgot about that.
Because things
All right,
popped
see
up
what
like couldn't
happened
record
was,
last
okay,
week.
look, I got a perfectly logical explanation. All right, Dame was hurt.
Okay, so you
Dame
and I
was hurt, G.
You and I
Dame was
both
legit
killed
hurt,
Patty for 2 years when he tried to say CP3 was hurt. We killed him for 2 years. You cannot come up with that same excuse though.
Dame was hurt, G. Dame went down. If Dame didn't go down, I think they would have at least took it 6. It went 5. And also Zach Collins was hurt. I didn't know Zach Collins was gonna be hurt. Like that man Nurk, I thought AD wouldn't be able to handle Nurk. I didn't know Nurk was gonna have to guard AD the whole series. That wound up changing the entire series because
Listen, we didn't have our starting point guard though. Like I don't want to hear about who's not here if we don't have Avery Bradley. Also,
Damian Lillard, Avery Bradley. I mean, come on.
no, I'm comparing Zach Collins and Avery Bradley's production.
I mean, so what do you mean?
Also, Dame played in 2 of them.
I'm mad. I'm broadcasting from Ashley's Twitter channel right now. While I'm in my jacuzzi channel. So sorry, people that are watching this from Ashley's Twitter channel. She will be on here momentarily. But yes,
Dame was in 2 of them.
Okay, fine. What do you want me to say? I'm sorry. All right, is that what you want from me? That what you want to hear from me? All right, fine. I'm sorry. My take was wrong. All right. My take was wrong. But guess what, Lakers fan?
The double down.
Sitting in my goddamn jacuzzi, enjoying myself. All right. So I don't care. All right. I make hot takes for a reason. Hoops and Brews is known for the hot takes for a reason. Because we do things differently. You think somebody calling in from their jacuzzi on ESPN? Hell no.
Hey, Stephen A.
No. You think somebody calling in from their jacuzzi on Bleacher Report? It ain't happening, Captain.
All right, so why do we have you here?
6.
I want to hear why you have the Rockets in 6.
I think that Robert Covington will do a good enough job on Anthony Davis. PJ Tucker is also the best guarder of Anthony Davis so far this season of any defender. Also, PJ Tucker frustrates a lot of guys. I feel like PJ Tucker always get nut slapped or knee or something, and I don't feel like that's on accident. I think that's on purpose. Okay. And I think that with the Lakers, man, like even me, like I'm looking at downtown LA right now, like I can see the skyline right now. I live a couple miles away from Staples Center. Like I know that the energy would be crazy in Staples Center, but they don't have that energy. So you got to go 1-on-1 with the great ones. And I think Russ and Harden are going to be too much for AD and Bron. I really do.
So you think the Thunder could take the Rockets some more games than the Lakers did?
Yes. Because also what you don't take into account is Russell Westbrook was hurt for 5 of those games. He did not play for 5 of those games, period. If Anthony Davis didn't play for 5 games and the Lakers went 7 with the Blazers, I wouldn't be mad at them for going 7. Anthony Davis didn't play for 5 games. Russell Westbrook did not play for 5 games. And also in the 2 games he played, he looked old, he looked rusty, and he got to get his game win back underneath him. I think the worst part for the Lakers was that they had a lot of time off. I don't necessarily know if they're going to come out guns a-blazing. And also, how many more Green, how many more threes this man going to miss, G? I'm sorry that I'm sorry that the internet has commandeered this hashtag for this man, but he should never put that on his jersey. He should have put equality or something on his jersey because he ain't making no damn shots. So if anybody is shooting anybody, Danny Green ain't one of them.
So while we're on Danny Green, he made some comments about Laker fans kind of criticizing him.
Yeah, that's
calling us bandwagon fans. Like, dog, we supported Robert Stockray. We supported.
Just get shot. The fuck? You heard that shit? The fuck?
We supported Kimball Marshall. We supported Marcelo Huertas. You can't call us bandwagon fans if we've been here. We just expect
G. Y'all had Robert Stockray on the floor, G. What the hell is this man talking about? He was playing with the Raptors, G. You know how many goddamn championships the Lakers won? On the top of that banner, it say the road to championship number 17, don't it? It don't say the road to championship number 1. He out of his goddamn mind. He tripping.
And I know
he got to show more respect. All these guys on the Lakers got to show more respect to. But I feel like everybody got to show more respect to Lakers fans. Like, I've been in a virtual war with Lakers fans all year long. Mainly it's because we cover the Clippers, so everybody assumes that I'm a Clippers fan, which I'm not a Clippers fan. I cover the team, and they're a good basketball team, and I think that they might win a championship. But I don't have any, like last year, I didn't say they was beating the Warriors. I said they was going to get fucking swept. And what did they do? They won a couple games, and I was surprised. Yeah. I even asked Patrick Beverly after the game. I'm like, yo, I was surprised y'all won. Like, what are your thoughts on you all winning? And he was like, well, we wanted all the smoke. So, hey, that's what it was. It's not like I overnight became anti-Lakers. When they had Lonzo Ball, Brandon, and Kyle Kuzma, I said they weren't going to win shit. Ashley, what's up, G? I'm sorry, but I'm in my jacuzzi right now.
I can see that while the rest of us are working.
Yeah.
I mean, I just want to say this. I just want to say this for the record. I was at work, but because I got a jacuzzi in the crib, I can just go on my lunch break and hop in that young koozie. So I hopped in that young Bob koozie. Now I'm in the jacuzzi and I'm on King Watch. So I'm sorry. I was trying to help Daniel out, and then you weren't here, so I was like, fuck it, I hop on, but I'm in the jacuzzi. So I'm sorry, I'm in the jacuzzi. But like I told you, you're not gonna see this on ESPN. But I for the record, I am in the jacuzzi. It's the pool too back there. Y'all can see the pool. I ain't gonna show y'all all of that, because then y'all know where I live. All right, go ahead.
Welcome, Ashley, to the second round of Watch LA.
Yeah, I guess I can leave now that Ashley's here.
Why? We want to hear your ridiculous Rockets take. So
you've missed some already.
Rockets in 6.
I got my handful the other day between the Robert Covington, which was not TPJ. I will give him that. It was not. It was not his take, but it was ridiculous. Okay, there's no way, for people who don't know what we're talking about, there's no way Robert Covington is stronger than LeBron James. It's just not.
Yeah, what do you think about that? Glasses say Robert Covington was stronger than LeBron. What you think?
I think PJ Tucker's stronger than Covington.
I can agree with that.
So I don't know why he's trying to come up with that. If you want to say PJ Tucker, okay, but Covington, no way in hell.
No, it's ridiculous. And I mean, the facial expressions between us when it did go, I just can't. I can't even get into it again. It's just going to make me mad. So I'm not going to do it. But yeah, ridiculous. Not a fan at all.
All right. So what are you looking forward to in game 1 tonight, Ashley?
I'm looking forward to seeing exactly how the Lakers are going to adjust their game. You know, anyone who knows me knows I'm not the biggest fan of small ball. I don't necessarily believe in it when it comes to getting closer to the finals. I think small ball is one of those offenses that really only work in the regular season. When the game starts to change, I don't think it's productive or conducive, rather, for winning championships. And I've always felt like that. That's not a new thing because it's the Rockets. I felt like that with any team in the history of teams who have used that offense, coaches for some reason who are in love with it, Dan Antoni being one of them. I just don't believe in it when it comes to winning championships. So in order for the Lakers to perform to the standard in which they need to win a championship and to go to the finals to face the Clippers, because I'm calling it right now. I don't care what anybody says. The Nuggets are not taking it 7 games.
First of all, why
that series is over?
Why you hating G? I didn't say they was gonna win. I just said they was gonna win a few games. Why you big hating on that?
You said first of all, don't lie to these people. Don't lie to these people. You said that series is going 6 or 7. No way in
6 or 7.
No way in hell is that series
the
going
Nuggets 6. Not gonna win. No, why you making it seem like I'm saying the Nuggets gonna win?
That Nuggets Clippers series is not going 6 or 7 games. Did you watch that game last night? They're not going to get any more rest days. Like from this point forward. I
disagree with that. Also, Jokic was embarrassed. They embarrassed that man on TNT. If he come out there and play like that again, then they got problems. But also, that was a home game. Did the Clippers not do what they supposed to do?
They're in the bubble.
Wait a minute. Let me rebut.
Oh my God. Here we go.
Let me rebut. If the Lakers go out tonight and blow the Rockets out by 30, good. That's what you were supposed to do in the first place. Like, that don't mean that I don't think the series going to be long because you won a game. Like, because you won a game? Like, it's one game. It's one game.
I don't really, but it's not about, It's not about the one game. It's about the standard that was set in that one game. Listen, the thing is if this was a regular series, if this was a regular playoff series, listen, if this was a regular playoff series where there were travel days in between, then I would say, you know what, I will give it to you 6 or 7 games. But in a bubble format where they're playing every other day, the rest is not going to get easier. It's only going to get harder. So there's no way in hell.
Losing in 6. Bron gonna get tired by game 6.
LeBron, just come on now.
We played one
come
game.
on now.
Yeah,
Lakers played one game in 13 days.
at a way different pace than the Blazers do, and Russell Westbrook and James Harden can realistically be on the floor for every single minute of the game. Not both of them at the same time, but one of them can realistically be on the floor with their foot on the gas pedal. And also, Lou Dort ain't walking through that door. Avery Bradley ain't walking through that door, and Danny Green ain't stopping nobody.
Also,
Nobody.
Steven Adams won't be on the court. We have Anthony Davis. Steven Adams would crash that entire series.
You all have to make this is the thing. The Lakers are going to have to outshoot the Rockets every game, and they're going to have to at least make 10 threes in every game in order for them to win. Now, if you can do that, cool. But if you can't, you're going to get that ass busted because y'all going to be exchanging 2s for 3s. And the Rockets also have a guy that can't make 3s in his starting lineup and only wants to attack the paint and the rim and Russell Westbrook. Chris Paul, as we saw in the OKC series, at a certain point in time, he was just too old or too slow, so he was dancing on the perimeter with the ball. Russ ain't doing that shit. He taking 3 dribbles, a hard drive to the lane. He either getting fouled or he laying the ball up. So this is not going to be what y'all think it is. And also, Anthony Davis is going to have to go out there and prove himself because like last year, or the year before, whenever they made it to the second round. Cool. All right, you a second-round player. Show me you can get to the conference finals. He got to prove himself. I done seen Russ and Harden both get to conference finals and get to the finals. Anthony Davis got to prove himself. So, yeah, I'm not going to just take the Lakers. Yeah,
and he's
I'm sorry.
going to prove himself this series.
No, and you can look at my playoff bracket. I have the Rockets being there.
He proved himself.
No, he has. I mean, you started to see glimpses of playoff AD, if you will, towards the end of their last series, which was necessary because I agree with you. LeBron can't do all the work himself. And that was the point that I made about the Clippers was that when you sign AD or a Paul George, it's the Robin to Batman. And sometimes Robin has to save the day and you can't continue a series not carrying your weight. And that was my critique of PG. And you see how the Clippers dominate when Paul George is holding his weight. Yes, they can win without him. Wait. Let me finish. I know, but let me finish. Yes, but what I'm saying is when you look at the 2 stars on the team, the Clippers win a lot easier when PG is pulling his weight. Yes, they can win. Yes, they can win without him, but they win easier with him pulling his weight. And that's the same. What?
When the bench plays well and they make 3s, they win.
Yes, I'm not saying it's just PG. It makes
being a secondary player now, it drives me nuts. It's like, bruh, wasn't you just fucking nominated for MVP last year? Why are you sitting up here talking to me like you goddamn Eddie Jones or some shit and you playing with prime Kobe Bryant? You just got nominated for MVP. Like, the way this man PG be talking in the post games, be like, bruh, do you not know who you are? Like, that's why I disagree with that, because he can be as passive as he wants to be, and they can still realistically win any game. And
but
if
I
they
didn't
make 3s in the bench plays, well, they'll be all right.
I didn't say that they couldn't. You're not listening to what I'm saying. What I'm saying is
it's easier when PG plays well.
It's 100% easier. It's 100% easier when PG when he pulls his weight. Look at the series against the Mavs.
Weight, though? He scored like
not dropping 9 points like he was against the Mavericks. That's not holding his weight. That's my point.
But also he has to defend. Doc has said as well. If PG not making shots, I don't care about that. We not executing on defense. I still think Paul George was at least last year before his shoulder injuries was still a top 5, top 10 defender in the NBA. I ain't seen that this year. So, like, I understand with these Clippers guys, we want to talk about them scoring points. I don't care about the points. They're going to win a championship off defense. The Lakers are going to win a championship.
I agree with that.
And but I don't think that boils down to PG making shots. Lou Will can drop 30 on any given night. Montrez can drop 20 to 25 on any given night. Kawhi has not dropped less than 29 in the entire playoffs. They need Marcus Morris to make open shots and fulfill his lanes when he's running in transition. They need Ivica Zubac to get rebounds and not get killed in the pick and roll. And they need Patrick Beverley to be on the floor and be healthy and be able to play on offense, because when Landry Shamet is out there, they can't make 3s and they don't know how to orchestrate the offense. And Doc Rivers has done something that he only did with Rajon Rondo, which was give him his play call sheet and say, when you want to run a play, you can run the play you want to. He not doing that with Landry Shamet. That's why they look the way they look. So like with the Lakers, they it's the same thing with the Lakers. The Lakers look great when they play defense. When they don't play defense, they look terrible. But when they lock in on defense, they're cool. I don't care about AD making a million shots. AD is not the key. LeBron is the key. LeBron has to average more than a 27 bone, and AD has to play all-world defense out there in the paint and at least give me 15 rebounds a game. And if he can do that, the Lakers are unstoppable. Personally.
If you look at the Rockets,
it's not about making shots. Defense.
If you look at the Rockets, LeBron should average 30. There's no center out there to protect him from the rim.
I disagree with that. AD protects himself from the rim. He's shooting floaters and shit when he got people my height guarding him. What are you doing posting up a point guard from the three-point line?
But again, that's because the Blazers were playing Nurkic and Whiteside towards the basket. So he can't get to the rim if they're just going to stay there and protect it. This series, AD has to play the 5. I don't know if I can see JaVale and AD playing that many minutes together if the Lakers want to end the series in 5 or 6. And that's just because this is no discredit to JaVale. We just play better when we have one big out there. And I think Dwight Howard should take all of JaVale's minutes as well. And this is no knock to JaVale. It's just Dwight's played well. And you can't take that away from Dwight. And I haven't seen that from JaVale. And then I think we're going to see more of Markieff at either the 4 or 5 for some stretches. We're going to see more of Kuzma at the 4. And I think this series, you might see Dudley a little bit more. I think just body-wise, just because he can space the floor if you want to put Braun out there. Because why are we going to have, if we're down by like 8 points in the 4th, why would we have Dwight out there if we can put a floor spacer next to Braun?
If this was a Hoops and Brews episode, the name of this episode would be Chris Dudley going to win the Lakers the championship. Because what the hell is wrong with you? Leave his old ass on the bench cheerleading like he's supposed to be doing.
But again, he can get away on defense because you just guard PJ Tucker in the corner. PJ Tucker's not going to beat you off the dribble. And I'm not saying
I'm gonna mute my mic because I already know I didn't talk way more than I should have. So I'm gonna let you and Ashley talk.
I'm not saying
Jared
Dudley should play 10 minutes.
You're tripping, bro.
He could play a 4-minute stint that swings a series in game 3 or 4. That's what I'm getting at. He's not going to play 8 to 10 minutes a game. There's just one game where I can see Jared Dudley being an X factor.
I mean, I will say this, though, and I said this when we were talking about the Clippers-Nuggets matchup. One of the things that I want to see the Lakers do, just because, like I said, I'm not a fan of small ball when it comes to winning championships, but I do think that the Lakers, they do struggle against teams that run small ball. You look at how they did against the Rockets in the regular season. So the key to winning against the Rockets is not trying to keep up with them per se, because you can't. The size difference is just not going to happen. What you have to do is slow down the game that you currently play. If the Lakers play smart and they slow down their current offense and not try to keep up with the Rockets, then we're going to get a series with a lot of back and forth, and maybe even more of a series leaning towards the favor of the Lakers, because the Rockets cannot compete with them in size. That just is what it is. But the issue is Rockets have the speed. So you can't, and the Lakers aren't built to keep up with a team like the Rockets and that small ball offense. So we're going to need to see the adjustments needed to slow down their game and not try to keep up with the game of the Rockets. And that's where the winning formula is going to be. If they try to do the opposite and they actually try to keep up with the Rockets, you're going to see what happened in the regular season. They're not going to be able to do it. Maybe they'll last a half, maybe even 3/4. But in that crunch time, they're going to get gassed and they're ultimately going to lose. So they cannot do it that way. That is the biggest factor in winning against the Rockets.
I think Kyle Kuzma will also be one of the most important players in the series, just because his defensive impact in the bubble has been, he might be one of the top 3 or 4 Laker defenders on the team right now. I'd probably go with AD, Braun, and then Kuz. And Kuz plays well against players that just look to score. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Kuz on James Harden for a little bit, just because I don't know how else we're going to try to guard James Harden, because he's going to cook.
But you want your best defender on Harden. You don't want to put Kyle Kuzma on Harden.
Kyle Kuzma did play well against Jason Tatum.
Who's their best defender?
You would say Kyle Kuzma their best defender?
No, not best defender.
I just asked a question. I'm asking you, who's their best defender?
Best defender is AD.
Yeah, it's AD statistically.
You putting AD on Harden?
No,
I wouldn't put. But would you put Kuzma on Harden?
Hell yeah, that's way better than AD. And man,
If
he's gonna be in foul trouble every game. Sitting on the bench.
played Kawhi pretty well. Kuz played Jason Tatum pretty well. So it's not far fetched.
So then who are you putting on PJ Tucker then?
He still is. I don't care if B.I.
PJ Tucker.
Who are you gonna put on PJ Tucker? Who's gonna defend him?
Who cares? Literally, who cares? Don't let the man make corner threes. Stand your ass in the corner with him and don't let him crash to the basket. If he crashes to the basket, stand in front of him. It's easy.
Fourth quarter, I can
PJ Tucker should not average more than 7 points in this series.
I could see LeBron maybe guarding Harden in the fourth. I can see AD.
I don't know. I feel like I would put LeBron on Harden. I would put Kuzma on PJ Tucker. I wouldn't put Kuzma on James Harden. I feel like that.
On James Harden.
I would put LeBron on James Harden before I put Kyle Kuzma on James Harden.
You are tripping. You trying to have this man.
What?
LeBron. Actually, you know what? I hope they do that. So then my prediction can come true.
But then again, I also think AD will guard Harden in stretches in the fourth.
First of all, you have to put at some point in the game, you have to put your best defender, which is AD, on James Harden. That's just what you have to do. It may not be the full game, but he has to have moments in that game, certain possessions where he is guarding James Harden. You cannot have Kyle Kuzma guarding James Harden for 4 quarters in the NBA playoffs game. You cannot do it. That's ridiculous.
Because we've seen Harden cook both KCP and Danny Green.
AD is going to be a meal on James Harden. He cannot guard James Harden.
I don't know what the answer is.
James Harden is not Damian Lillard.
We're going to figure that out.
Not Damian Lillard. His size is not going to bother James Harden.
And then I also think
James Harden is going to get Anthony Davis and LeBron in foul trouble. What the Lakers need to do, the best way they can win this series is your plan should be to stop James Harden, keep Russell Westbrook off the offensive boards because he can be a terror on the offensive boards, and make sure that PJ Tucker does not make a ton of corner threes. Don't put LeBron or AD on that. Put Danny Green on that man and let that man work it out.
Danny Green on who?
On James Harden, let that man work it out. James Harden still gonna do whatever he want to do.
This is where I sign off.
Defenders to be able to defend the Rockets. So what
you want to put Danny Green on James Harden?
Braun got to drop 27, 80 got to drop around 27 to 30, and they got to out-rebound them every game. The key to this series is rebounding, specifically offensive rebounding, PJ Tucker's corner threes, and making sure that you keep Russell Westbrook off the offensive glass.
Have you seen Danny Green move? Have you seen Danny Green move?
Huh?
Have you seen Danny Green move?
No one on this planet other than Lugens Dort can guard James Harden, period. You put LeBron and Anthony Davis on them is wasting fouls. That's a waste of fouls and a waste of their energy. All right, watch. You gonna see. I trust me.
If you put Danny Green on James Harden, just give the Rockets a series right now. That's what I'm gonna tell you. If you put Danny Green on James Harden, just give the Rockets a series. Don't even bother playing because
don't get me wrong. The Rockets are gonna put the Lakers in switches all game long. So LeBron is going to have to guard James Harden because James Harden is going to specifically target LeBron because LeBron can't fucking guard James Harden. So LeBron is going to be a target. Danny Green is going to be a target all series long. Alex Caruso is going to be a target. Rajon Rondo is going to. Yes, anytime they are on the floor and the Rockets can get a switch on them, James Harden is going to have them out there dancing more than the Penguins did in Happy Feet. So,
but why are you putting all the pressure on Harden? What about who's guarding
5-6 fouls in foul trouble every game? But let Harden do what Harden does. You cannot stop him. Keep
who's guarding Westbrook
from shooting threes because
who's guarding Westbrook?
Threes, you get beat.
Who's guarding Westbrook?
What do you mean who's guarding Westbrook? Keep him from the paint. You the Lakers. You the number 1 paint team. Keep him from
the paint. Who are you guarding? Who are you using to guard?
Keep him from the paint.
Someone's got to guard him. Who's guarding him?
No one needs to guard him. In their offense, he's running essentially a small ball center in their offense. Literally, he grabs the offensive rebound. Usually he's crashing to the board, or PJ is. They feed him the ball. He runs the ball up court in transition and tries to get a layup or a 3. Keep Russell Westbrook.
So you're leaving him. So you're telling me you're leaving him wide open.
Have you seen that man make shots to pass?
I'm asking you. I'm asking you
right now on your computer. That man shooting.
I'm asking you right now. Go. I'm asking you right now. Game 1 against the Rockets, you're leaving him wide open. You're not putting anybody on.
If Russell Westbrook is going to be the guy to shoot me out of a series, then let him do it, because I ain't never seen him do it a day before in his life.
That is not what I'm asking
tweet
you.
God, other than Reggie Jackson and arguably prime. Actually, I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna say that because of personal relationship. But literally, he's a tweet God. I love Russ. He is a
So
tweet
what you're saying, I just want to make sure everyone can clearly understand is what you're saying is you're not putting anybody, you're leaving them wide open.
Come on, don't come on, stop that.
Stop.
I'm asking you, who's guarding him?
What he's trying to say.
Anyone else that's not guarding James Harden can guard him. The Rockets are gonna. You're missing the point. The Rockets are gonna literally make the Lakers
I want you to answer the.
No, you gotta stop. Listen to what I'm saying. The Rockets are going to make the Lakers switch all game long, meaning that whoever you think are the primary defenders are not going to be the primary defenders. So I could be like, oh, Danny Green gonna shut him down. Well, he's not, because anytime they want to get a switch, they're going to put they're going to put the best option for them on offense in the switch. Meaning that if they feel that they can attack Dwight, they're going to put Dwight in the switch, and they're going to get Danny Green off of him. If they feel that they have a matchup advantage with Alex Caruso on the floor, they're going to switch Russell Westbrook and have him in a pick and roll with someone else to get him off of there and get Alex Caruso on it. It's about keeping Russell Westbrook from the paint and off the offensive board. He cannot make threes. When he gets in rhythm from the mid-range, okay, but the Lakers defend very well against the paint in the mid-range. They struggle against good perimeter-oriented guards. Russell Westbrook is not a perimeter-oriented guard. He is a slasher and a offensive rebounder. That's what he does on offense. He's not a guy out there taking threes. When have you ever seen Russell Westbrook take a three and in your mind you like cash? You ain't never seen that. You ain't never said that. I'm pretty take a three and be like, I know that's going in. But when Steph Curry throw him up from half feet, you like, this man finna make it. And when he miss it, you be surprised. With Russ could be 15 feet away from the basket. It's a line drive. That's Russ. Like, we gotta stop acting like Russ ain't Russ. You defend Russ's strong points. His strong points are rebounding and layups and offensive rebounds. You keep them out of transition. You let James Harden dance all day long on the perimeter. You let him score, and you keep the rest of them people that's around him from getting 20 or getting 15 or hitting 5 threes or 4 threes on a random break. You keep them off of those 14-0, 19-0 runs, and that's how you beat them. You don't beat them by trying to out-defense them or trying to like outplay them or outscore them. Just out-execute them. And the Rockets have the ability to out-execute them, but you can't do that with Russell Westbrook shooting threes. That's not how you win. They're going to lose in 5 if Russ is out there shooting threes all game long. Literally. If the Lakers pack the paint and Russ can't get to the paint, it's over. So my take will be completely wrong. But that's only if they can do that. And they have to do that because Russ can't shoot. Everybody knows Russ can't shoot. Russ is like Ben Simmons with just more shot opportunities.
So for Russ, I would have KCP or Caruso guard him. Sag off a little bit, let him take the three, let him take the mid-range. But you live with him making that. And I think that's what you were going for, TPJ. You just were
I just wanted the answer of who he would have. I just wanted an answer. I just wanted a name. That's all I wanted. So thank you. Thank you for the name. I just wanted a name. I just wanted a name.
They do not have the personnel to guard them. How many times do I have to say that? They do not have the personnel to guard the Rockets on the perimeter. So you take away their advantages, which Russ's advantage is in the paint and on the offensive glass and in transition, and Harden's advantages are in transition when he's able to find shooters and make threes. If you put Harden in the half court and just tell him to dance and dribble, he will do that, but then you can send a double at him, and then you can shade or run a soft zone to keep them from getting those offensive rebounds that Russ gets that's either a putback or they're another three to somebody else. That's what you have to do to defend against them. It's not about individual defenders. The Lakers don't have the defenders. Avery Bradley not walking through that door. I literally said that at the beginning of the show. He's not. And he's the only person on his team that individually can guard James Harden or Russell Westbrook. Other than that, you all about matchup. It's all matchup.
I'm not discrediting that. I just simply wanted a name. So thank you for giving me Caruso. I'll take that. That's all I wanted.
Also going to guard Russell Westbrook.
I just wanted a name because you're naming who's going to guard who. So I just wanted a name.
Can Kentavious Caldwell-Pope guard Russell Westbrook?
So I don't think it's about.
I think Caruso would be a better matchup.
I think KCP and Caruso can make it tough for Westbrook. You're not going to stop an all-time great. And you're not going to stop Harden or Westbrook. You can make it difficult. So with Westbrook, we got to do sag off when he drives, double, and make sure the weak side help is rotating over to the open three. And that's what you're going to have to live with. If Ben McLemore is going to make a three, okay. And the Lakers will live with that.
I think you better be a little bit more respectful of Ben McLemore. He's been playing very well in this bubble, and that's the only thing I'll say, in the bubble.
I don't think he's played the last 2 or 3 games, though. I think his minutes have gone way down.
Yeah, but that was because of the matchup. I think the matchup versus the Lakers favors them more than OKC. OKC literally can't go small because then they have no one to be able to essentially grab rebounds because their smaller guards were smaller than the Rockets' smaller guards. Versus the Lakers have larger guards. So Ben McLemore will have the opportunity to be on the floor versus with OKC. Their guards are smaller, so you really want to, like, literally, you have Schroeder, Chris Paul, and you have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander on the floor with Steven Adams and Danilo Gallinari. Somebody has to be out there to be able to rebound. And once Russ came back, those minutes that he would usually have on the floor, when Steven Adams wouldn't be on the floor, Steven Adams is on the floor, so Ben McLemore can't play. He will play versus the Lakers. So I do think that he is a guy that can be an X-factor.
So I want to ask Ashley, what do you think the Lakers' closing lineup should be against the Houston Rockets?
Ooh.
Because they're going to play ball, so what are we going to do?
I think it really depends. I feel like LeBron is the nucleus of the situation. I think it really depends on how many minutes he's going to play or average this series. I know you're a diehard Lakers fan. How many minutes would you like to see him as a fan average this series?
He played 32, I believe, in the first round. I think he's going to need to play 36 to 37, 38 to win the series.
Okay, so for me, I'm a big fan, especially in games. Like, I don't think any of these games are going to be blowouts. I don't see that happening. It's not going to be a situation where we watched last night with the Nuggets and the Clippers. I think both of these teams are going to be very close games, especially, like I said, if the Lakers adjust their offense. So I'm a big fan of whatever the starting 5 is going to be. I would like to see that same 5 end the game. I know that they like to rotate it sometimes by 1 or 2 players. Obviously, AD and LeBron are the consistents, but I would like to see whatever starting 5 starts the game, I want to see them close it out, especially if it's a tight one. Now, if you're blowing the Rockets out, which again, I don't think is going to happen, if you're blowing them out by like 30 or 25 and you have 3 minutes left, I would leave your second unit in there because obviously you would hope that your second unit can hold it down for 2 minutes and you get that win. But if it's a close game, you gotta replay your starter. Yeah. So I want to make sure. I want to say that it's really important, and I definitely want to see. This is where we're gonna see what kind of coach Vogel actually is, because I'm not sold on him as a coach. I think when you have a team of superstars, and I was actually talking about this last night, when you have a team of superstars, you don't really have a coach. You have a game manager. Right? These guys can coach themselves, essentially. They know what the plays are. They know how to execute. They've been to the finals before, some of them. They've been in the playoffs before, some of them. So you really just have a guy who's managing players, who's managing a team. I don't really know. I haven't really seen Frank Vogel do anything where I can say, okay, this is a coach. I really wasn't sold on him when he was with the Pacers either. So I'm going to be interested to see exactly how he executes this lineup and how he moves his players around to make sure that his starting unit is the same finishing unit in the case that he needs it. So this is where Frank Vogel, this is his moment to shine, if you will.
Because I don't know what he's going to do with Vogel or with JaVale and Rondo. Because Rondo is available to play tonight. I don't know if you believe in playoff Rondo. I don't anymore. I don't believe in that myth just because of what I've seen with him play in LA, it's not been pretty. And with JaVale, I don't think you can close with JaVale. So if we want a starting 5 to close, I think he might make an adjustment and either put Morris or Kuzma in the starting lineup.
Yeah. Just
because playing 2 centers against the Rockets, we have the height advantage even without 2 centers. Even if we went with 1, we still have the height advantage because LeBron's 6'9" and AD's 6'10". So it's not like we're going small. It's just we're playing a more modern approach to the NBA. So I don't know. And I, like you, with Vogel, it's hit or miss. I think last series, Dion should have played more because when LeBron went to the bench, we needed that second, or we needed a playmaker on the court. I love Alex Caruso. That's not his game. And Kuzma can't really play make for anyone but himself. So it looks stagnant with the minutes that LeBron was out when AD wasn't hitting his shots. I feel like Dion needed to be in the game over J.R. Smith because he inserted J.R. Smith, I believe, game 2. and J.R. Smith was just throwing up bricks from games 2 through 5 when the game was close. Garbage time, J.R. I think outscored LeBron game 1 or game 2, so that was hilarious. But
yeah,
so
and I think it's interesting when, you know, it's hard because when you critique a coach whose team was the #1 seeded team in the West, people think you're crazy. Like, what are you talking about? Like, his team was #1. Look at his record. Like I said, it's easy to coach a team with superstars. I mean, any team with LeBron James on it, you can't give 100% of the credit to the coach. Let's be honest. Let's call a spade a spade. The playoffs is really where we get to see what coaches are all about. The playoffs are really what we get to see what the coaching staff is all about. I won't put all the pressure on Vogel. He has a staff of people who work with him, who work beside him. And this is really where you get to see, especially in the semifinals, especially in the conference finals, and ultimately in the finals, you get to really see what coaches are coaches and what coaches are game managers. Perfect example. I think what Coach Spo is doing down in Miami is phenomenal. Now, I know that I've been very critical of Coach Spo in the past, especially during the LeBron era, and that was a perfect example. I don't think that he really coached that team. You have D Wade, LeBron James, and Chris Bosh all on one team. You really didn't have to do much. But when you really can see what a coach is about is when you get rid of those star players.
Not to say not a star player.
You always talking about the Heat. You a Heat fan. Even though I live in Jersey. Why you always talking about the Heat? Even though you I told you how you from New York and you a Heat fan. You disrespectful to the Heat. I'm sorry. I was just typing a message to Daniel, but I heard that. You a Heat fan, even though I got on a Heat jersey. D-Wade fan, but I'm out of here.
Anyway, so when the big three was there, you really didn't get to see Coach Spo shine the way that he has been shining with this group of guys in Miami. And I think that's really the difference maker. So I'm going to be interested to see what Vogel does now that he's in the semis, because that's going to really put a different kind of spotlight on him when it comes to coaching and his coaching ability. So
I think with what you're saying, Vogel needs to earn his playoff stripes. And Indiana,
absolutely, 100%.
That team was deep. It wasn't, I think, what he did. It's just that team was deep, and it took him there. And he's had limited playoff success, or not even making it in Orlando. Here, there's been some games where he's made adjustments, and then he went back from those adjustments. And I'm just like, what are you doing? You've talked about AD playing the 5 and how much you see the open looks, yet we're playing 2 centers most of the time. I don't know if you've noticed, but when LeBron goes out in the 4th quarter, he answers with Anthony Davis and Dwight Howard.
Yeah.
And from minute 7 to 5, he takes out LeBron to give LeBron a rest, but he puts in Anthony Davis and Dwight. And I'm just like, to me, that doesn't make sense. I'm like, this is winning time. Why is that duo out there?
I also want to see one thing that I don't like that the Lakers do, and it reminds me a lot of the Cleveland offense in the sense that when LeBron has the ball in his hand, I feel like everybody's standing still. Mm-hmm. It's like LeBron has the ball. All right, so we don't have to do anything. Nobody's moving. Nobody's switching spots. Nobody's trying to get open in the event that he can't take the shot. So it forces him sometimes to take shots that he necessarily should not take. And I would like to see those adjustments made, especially in this series against Houston. I want to see more movement. I hate that Cleveland offense where everyone is, LeBron has the ball. We don't have to do anything. You saw it when he was playing with Kyrie. You even saw it when he went back to Cleveland when they won the finals that year. It's just, I don't like it. I like movement in my basketball. I like seeing an offense moving consistently, constantly, because you never know who's going to have a better look at the basket. You never know who's going to have a better shot in place. And just because he has the ball in his hand doesn't mean that he's the one who should take the shot. I want to see those adjustments made because I don't think in a series against Houston that's going to work. It's just not. They're just going to constantly be moving around, and we cannot have a Lakers team that's just stagnant in their offense. Just not going to work.
Why I love both Caruso and Kuzma, because they both move whenever Anthony Davis or LeBron James has the ball. They don't expect them to do everything. They both move. They both cut pretty well. Kuzma's a great cutter. Caruso's a great cutter and screen setter. So those two fit with LeBron and AD. It's just finding that fifth guy, whether it's Danny Green or KCP, whoever plays better, who's ever making shots, and who's ever defending better. My answer would be KCP, just because Danny Green, we've both seen him move laterally. It's not pretty. I think you and I both move side to side probably as quickly as Danny Green can. I can't play defense or not threes, but if we're moving side to side, we can offer that as well. But it's just
I think also though, Danny Green, like, I don't know what happened when he was in San Antonio from now, but his shot has just not been the same. Like, I don't remember which game it was during the last series, but I mean, he couldn't hit the side of a bus. And I'm just not understanding because he used to be Danny Money Green. Like, he could hit from the logo if he had to. I have no idea what happened to his shot. I don't know what happened to the jump in his shot, but it's just not there anymore.
And like, I've seen him hesitate. I've never seen Danny Green hesitate before this year. And there were a couple games, I believe, in the first round where he passed up open threes to take a dribble and like a pull-up two or try a floater. Luckily, I didn't know he had a floater in his game because he's actually made some pretty nice floaters in the lane. But he took a pull-up two, and it was just, I think it was an air ball or it was too long. But I'm just like, what is he doing?
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
it's the night and day Danny Green, because back when he was playing with the Spurs, like I said, that was never the case. And I don't know if it was a different level of confidence because of the team he was around, or, you know, Coach Pop, or whatever the case was the culture down there in San Antonio. Not really sure what it was, but it's not the same Danny Green that, you know, I wasn't even a Spurs fan. I was a Spurs fan the year they played Miami because, listen, I wasn't the biggest Miami fan. But, I mean, I like I said, I don't know what happened. And I think it's problematic when you only have, and I think this is the difference between Houston and LA, is that I think Houston has a lot more shooters. And yes, I believe that defense wins championships, but I also don't like teams where you rely consistently on the same handful of guys to make the plays and to win the games. Yeah. And I think sometimes people take advantage of the fact that LeBron James, whether or not you want to agree with it or not, but is one of the greatest, if not the greatest basketball player right now in the game overall. I think that sometimes you can ignore the gaps in the Lakers because of that. And I don't know. I feel like, here's the thing. Like I said, I don't believe in small ball, so I don't think that the Lakers are going to have that much of an issue with the Rockets. I have the Lakers winning. Obviously, my pick was Lakers and Clippers in the Western Conference Finals. I have the Clippers winning the whole thing because, like I said, I believe in defense, and I just think the Clippers are defensively a little bit more put together than the Lakers. But I don't know. I want to see more guys taking shots. That's what I would like to see. I don't want all the pressure on AD and LeBron for this whole series because like I said, I feel like that can be problematic.
Yeah. So, but from a Lakers fan perspective, we've seen duos take the majority of the shots, superstar duos. We've seen Shaq, Kobe, we saw Kareem and Magic, and how their styles dictated a win. So we kind of expect that to happen, and we just need role players to knock down open shots, play defense, and cut. And that's all we kind of need to see. And then just, who do you think wins game one?
I think I'm going to go with the Lakers. I think it was kind of the last series, I think, was a wake-up call for the Lakers. I don't see them winning. I don't see them losing, rather, a game one. Also, I feel like the Rockets haven't had enough time to make the adjustments I think they're going to need to beat the Lakers, at least in game one. Yeah. But I think this series is going to be a lot of back and forth. I would say Lakers game one. I have Houston game two. I have Houston game three, Lakers game four. I say this series goes 6. Yeah. I don't see it going a full 7 games. I think if it does, I would be surprised unless you have something crazy that happens, like in the Toronto-Boston game where someone just takes a shot with 0 seconds on the clock and it goes in. I have the series going 6. If it goes past that, I would be very surprised.
I have Lakers winning tonight. I just think they've kind of had the wake-up call, like you said, after losing game 1 against Portland. I kind of think they realized, hey, we need to play our best basketball if we actually want to win this thing. We can't just rely on our talent to always shine through. We actually have to play hard. And games 2 through 5 versus the Blazers, they played hard. They didn't cat the game away, like many have said. And I think the Lakers win in 5 or 6. 5 if everything goes to plan and they scheme how they should against the Rockets. 6 if Frank wants to be stubborn and play JaVale more minutes than he should.
No, I agree. I like I said, I called 6 when the matchup was announced. Mm-hmm. I don't believe the Rockets are taking this series. I just don't. I know a lot of people think that the Rockets can be the kryptonite to the Lakers. I don't see it. but I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk for the Lakers. I don't think it's going to be a sweep by any means. I know a lot of people are saying, "Oh, we're going to sweep them Lakers in 4." I don't think that's going to happen. And I hate comparing the regular season to playoffs because the game changes, and I hate doing this because, like I said, 2 different games, almost 2 different seasons. Once that regular season ends, I don't even care anymore. But you have to look at history, and history shows that when the Lakers, like I said, try to keep up with the Rockets, it does not work in their favor. You look at the record. I compared, this is why I said that the Miami Heat have the Bucks number before the series even started, because I looked at the games that they played down here in Miami, even in Milwaukee. It's not a good matchup. The Miami Heat just have the Bucks number. So, and the Bucks haven't made the adjustments needed. They really can't make the adjustments needed to keep up with Miami. It's just not the way the team's designed, but they haven't even attempted. So looking at the Lakers and Houston, I just hope to see that the adjustments that we need, because if we don't, I think we're going to repeat of a lot of the games we saw during the regular season. And if that is the case, Laker fans should be very worried.
If the Lakers fall in love with AD fadeaways, and I know he was automatic the first series against the Blazers, but if you can only be that hot from that spot and fading away for so long, so it'll be interesting to see when his shot stops falling with the fading away, what they do after to counter that. And to me, that will make it either a 5 or a 6 or maybe even a 7-game series. If they can't adjust from that, what do they do? That's why I said we need 36, 37 minutes from LeBron, because there is no one bigger than you guarding you from getting to the paint. And if they want to send some help to get you to the rim, someone's going to be open for 3. This is going to be Alex Caruso's, I think, biggest series, because he can play defense well enough to stay on the court. He's going to start needing to make threes to keep himself being on the court, because you still have to respect Danny Green and KCP's spacing. Teams don't really respect Alex Caruso's spacing. If he can make them respect that, I just think it makes life easier on LeBron. And again, I think if they can do the things well enough, it should be 5 or 6. Because I'm not going to be disrespectful to Harden or Westbrook either. They're both great players. Harden's going to have a 40, 50-point game against us. We've just seen that too many times in LA. I believe Harden dropped like 4 or 5 straight 40-point games on us, on like the baby Lakers, the Lonzo and Ingram-led Lakers. And that was when Josh Hart tried to play defense with his hands behind his back. So we were trying anything and everything to stop him. And then Russell Westbrook, I believe the 2 times we lost to the Rockets this year, he had 38 and 40.
Are you at all worried about officiating in this series? Because the officiating, if you ask me, in the bubble has been atrocious. And I'm not like the biggest advocate for NBA refs. I think that they miss a lot of calls, even not in the bubble, during the regular season, in finals and playoffs when we weren't in a quarantine situation. You look at the game against Miami and Milwaukee, 2 terrible calls. One obviously cost Milwaukee the game. You look at Toronto and Boston just the other day. Are you at all worried about the officiating in this series, or you feel like LeBron's going to get the Jordan treatment?
I feel like officiating has been terrible both ways on each team that has played. So I don't feel like it affects any one team one way or the other. And I think the Lakers have enough talent to overcome a bad officiating night anyways. So unless we see Harden get like 4 calls in 1 quarter and him getting 3 free throws each time, that's when I'll worry. But if that doesn't happen, then it should be talent wins out.
And I mean, it also helps when you have like the face of the NBA on your team, because a lot of calls that should be called are not going to be called. Let's be honest. Let's call it what it is.
But with him, he doesn't get called a lot of fouls, but he also doesn't get a lot of foul calls going to the rim anymore. And I don't know if that's just because maybe he's lost his step, but he's still as big as anyone in the league, so officials can't see the contact. So I don't know why his foul calls have definitely diminished. I believe his free throw rate is the lowest it's been in his career. And I don't know why that is. But Anthony Davis also gets superstar calls as well, and he gets a lot of superstar calls. He's basically a 6'10" James Harden when it comes to the beneficiaries of the whistle. So I don't know.
We're definitely going to get a couple, I want to say over or under, on how many James Harden flops we're going to get in game 1 in this series in general. I would like to say we're going to see a nice clean, I want to go 10 flops this game, at least, bare minimum. I'm giving 10. James Harden's good for double-digit flops. Absolutely.
Unless he's guarding LeBron, I don't know who he'll flop against though, because
Well,
Danny
of
Green
course,
drive,
TPJ, you're not putting LeBron on. You're not putting LeBron on harder, which I think is ridiculous. But according to him, it's not the case. So maybe he won't flop after all.
On defense, I don't see Harden flopping. On offense, he'll flop against anyone. And
Oh,
Danny
absolutely.
Green likes to foul 3-point shooters. That's why I don't want Danny Green on James Harden. I want him as far away from James Harden as you can be. But we'll see. So you have the Lakers winning tonight and then winning in 6 or 7. Who do you think the series MVP will be for the Lakers?
I think actually it's going to be. I'm going to go against the grain. I'm going to say AD. I think AD is going to catch fire. And I think that he's just starting, in the last series against Portland, he was just starting to get warmed up. I think AD is going to be the series MVP. And I think that we're going to see the AD that everyone's kind of been craving for. I know, he's gotten kind of, some people were like, how is AD, MVP material and all this? Where is this AD? Where's playoff AD? The same kind of conversation we were getting with Paul George. But I feel like AD is about to go off this series, and I think we're going to see exactly why that monster trade happened the way that it happened and why LeBron wanted him so badly in LA. We're going to see exactly the championship caliber player that AD can be. And I'm excited because I've kind of been waiting for it. I see glimpses of it here or there, but I can't actually say in this bubble scenario so far, I've seen a whole game where I'm like, that's championship AD. I've seen glimmers of it. So it's going to be exciting to watch. And it's almost going to be like, passing of the torch, if you will, because let's be honest, LeBron's 35 years old, 36. So he can't play forever. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see it. And I think, listen, I don't think when I picked the Clippers to win the finals, it was strictly because of a defensive standpoint, but I don't think even in that matchup, and I'm calling the matchup in the Western Conference Finals because that's exactly what I think it's going to be. Clippers, LA, battle Los Angeles, and I'm excited to see it. But even that's not going to be a cakewalk. That series I have going 7.
Yeah,
when we get there, that's going 7.
That series, regardless, goes 7. I have the Lakers winning that series. But again, it's going to be 7 if they actually do meet up, which the Clippers, I think, should, like you said, we both agree it should be a 4 or 5 game series when they play the Nuggets. That series shouldn't see a game 6.
Oh,
I think,
absolutely. Yeah,
I think the series MVP is actually AD as well. I think he's going to average 33 and 13. And I think they'll need that to win the series. And with AD being the MVP of the series, I think Kyle Kuzma is the X factor of the series. If he can continue to play good defense and knock down shots, the Lakers will beat the Rockets in 5 or 6. If he struggles and his defense kind of goes down, then who knows? Because we don't have many defenders that can also score on this roster. We have LeBron and AD, and that's about it. That can do both. The rest of the players can do one of each, either score or defend, and then you just live with the results after that. So Kuzma's X factor, and LeBron is going to be – he'll probably need a triple-double as well, 36, 38 minutes. I think Anthony Davis needs to play 40 minutes a game.
Wow.
You are not banging down low with any center. You can conserve your energy. You can play 40 minutes. This is your series. You're 25. Actually, no, he's 27. You are 27. You want to be in LA. You want to be the face of the Los Angeles Lakers. You want to win a championship. Go prove it.
I would rather see – I definitely agree with the AD minutes thing. I definitely agree AD is going to be a huge factor in this game, but I actually would prefer him to take more shots just driving it in the paint than seeing him try to shoot threes. I think if he shoots the threes, that's exactly what Houston wants because, listen, AD is one of those players where he kind of reminds me of I'm trying to think of the old school basketball player, but essentially when AD is on fire and he's shooting consistently, it's great. But he doesn't have enough of a consistent outside shot where I want to see him constantly shoot threes in this game, in this series in general. I want to see him use his size, use his strength, and just bully guys in the paint. Get those just 2 points, call it a day, move it along. If he has a wide open 3 and he thinks he has it, take the shot. But don't go out there and get 3 happy because you live and you die by that 3. Don't go out there thinking, you're Steph Curry because you're not Steph Curry. Use your size, use the bully tactic if you have to. Obviously play smart. You don't want to keep fouling them over and over again. That's problematic too. You run into foul trouble. But I just don't want to see AD out there just trying to make it rain threes. That is the one thing I don't want to see.
Yeah. Like I said, the only person in this series that can stop AD is Anthony Davis. PJ Tucker can make it tough, but you're 6'10". You dribble like a guard. Get to the rim and finish over these players. You are not Steven Adams. Steven Adams was moving I think he was the reason why the Thunder lost that series. He was just wasting space. He wasn't moving on offense or defense. He couldn't get an offensive rebound. AD, you are 6'10". Go get the rebound. If LeBron or KCP is throwing up bricks, go get me the rebound. And then just put the ball back up. And I think he has a monster series. And we're going to quickly segue into just who you have in Game 3 with the Heat and the Bucks. I know that's a series that I see you tweeting a lot about.
I got to roll with the home team. I got to go with the boys from the 305. Down here in Miami, we're very, very excited about this Heat team. And I think, I personally have a relationship with a few of the guys on the team. And one of the things that is beneficial to them is that they've flown under the radar. A lot of experts, analysis, if you will, just did not have this team making it this far. They haven't going to the playoffs, obviously, but that's because the East is so lopsided in talent, I think, compared to the West. But a lot of people did not think that they were going to go this far. But one of the things that Miami prides themselves on is not only the fact that they're a defensive, well-oiled machine, and that is something that Spo and Pat Riley are adamant about, but also they have found the ability in the way that they recruit players, the staff that they have, to go ahead and get these guys out there and observe players while they're still in college from the G League, guys who just have been overlooked completely. They have really constructed a team that has shooters from every angle. It's very rare on a basketball team to have multiple guys on the court at one time who can take the shot. You look at most of the teams in the playoffs, you kind of always know where the ball is going to go. You always know who's going to have the ball in their hand. And when it comes down to the clutch, you, for the most part, know who's going to take the shot. So you double team them, you orchestrate your defense around them. But in Miami, the beautiful thing about this team is you have a bunch of young guys with a lot of talent, and you never know where that ball is going to go. It can be Jimmy Butler. Most likely it will be Jimmy Butler. But if it's not, it could be Tyler Hero. It could be Dragic. It could be Myers Leonard. It could be Bam Adebayo. And that's what makes them so dangerous, because you can't get a read on a team like that. So, I've had a love-hate relationship with the Miami Heat, being a Knicks fan, obviously. So there's a lot of history there. Obviously, me, Pat Riley, my organization, we got a lot of bad blood between us. And I haven't always been the biggest. I've actually never been the biggest Heat fan. When LeBron was down here, you can ask anyone. They played Dallas, I was a Mavericks fan. They played the Warriors, I was a Warriors fan. Like, whatever team Miami was playing, I was that fan. But, reporting on the Heat this year and the year prior, and like I said, getting to interview some of the guys and developing relationships with them, I've really grown to admire and respect what Miami is doing. And I think they're going to surprise a lot of people. I really do. I think that because they know that they're underestimated, I think because they know that a lot of people are looking at them like, can they do it? Should they do? They know what they're capable of. They know what the culture is down in Miami. And I don't think the Bucks can keep up. And I've said this, I don't think the Bucks we're seeing in the bubble are the same Bucks team that I was calling to win the whole thing back in January. It's just not the same team.
So I think the Heat schemed well, and I think Spo's top 2, top 3 coach in the league. I don't know who you have one, but he has proven he will get his players right.
Yeah.
He gets the right kind of players to buy into a system. And not only does he gain their trust, but he trusts them. And Jimmy was considered, a lot of people didn't think Jimmy was a big fish in this free agency, but he's shown that he was. And his stats don't always tell the whole story, and I like players like that. I don't need to see you get 30 every night. If you give me 25 and 5 and you play like a dog the entire game, you're a superstar to me. And that's what Jimmy does. And then you also
I'm really excited about that Jimmy Butler, the rising from the ashes, if you will, like the Phoenix, because he has gotten a bad rep from multiple teams, multiple situations. You look at the 76ers, you look at what happened in Minnesota, you look at what happened in Chicago. it was everyone's looking at Jimmy like, is Jimmy the problem? Like, and then you see him come to Miami and it's a completely different player. It's a completely different just manner. He has completely different mannerisms, a completely different game. And that is why I say all the time, a lot of the time, it is not the player. It is just the environment in which they're in. And there's a perfect environment for every player. And Jimmy Butler has found his.
And I want to say Udonis Haslem is a big reason why that Miami thing fits. He's not going to take shit, and you're going to have to work hard. And I think him being there allowed the Jimmy transition to go smoothly. And he collects checks, but it works. And like you see, Zach LaVine and Joel Embiid both tweet how much they miss Jimmy. So it's looking like Jimmy wasn't the problem. It was just people not wanting to work hard.
Listen, Joel Embiid is just trying to find a way out.
Yep.
All right, he don't want to be there anymore. He's just like, somebody, please come save me. Somebody get me out of here. I don't trust the process anymore. I'm sorry. But, you know, the thing about UD is the risk. I've never seen a player, and not even just within the organization, just in a city alone. I haven't seen it. The last person I saw was obviously Wade when he was here, but UD is so well respected in the franchise, in the NBA, in the city of Miami. Like, it is unbelievable the amount of just the amount of credibility that he has. It's just, people listen when he speaks, and these guys really value his opinion. They really value his knowledge. They really value just his presence. And having a veteran who has been there before and really who has seen Miami through so many different changes and has seen Miami through so many different, you know, eras, if you will, and has been with the organization. There's a reason he's been there so long. And it's because he is just a guy who people gravitate towards because of his knowledge, because of his authenticity. And it makes a huge difference when you have somebody on your team like that. He doesn't have to put up any numbers. As you can see, sometimes he never even hits the court. It's about the presence of him being there. And I think that's Miami's secret weapon is UD. It really makes a difference. Yeah.
And he's been there, pre-Shaq, post-Wade, pre-LeBron, post-LeBron, post-Wade. He's been there since 2003, 4, even before that. Yeah.
So, listen, if they rename Biscayne Boulevard, which is where the AAA arena is, Wade Boulevard, they need to put a statue of UD next to Wade and Shaq and, you know, a bunch of the other guys right there in front of the AAA arena, because that is how important he has been to that franchise and to the city of Miami. 100%.
All right. Well, let's both get out of here before Game 3 starts so we can both watch that. Let the fans know where they can follow you at.
You guys can follow me at Ashley Nicole Moss on Twitter and Instagram, and check out my content on the HNB Media TV channel.
All right. And same for me. Follow King Watch LA, HNB Media as well. And this has been a blast. Hopefully your Heat take care of business in Game 3 and the Lakers take care of business tonight.
We'll see. But I'm confident we're right about this. So we're good. Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. I don't know. I don't know how tricky he'll be with Rondo tonight because Rondo's healthy. He can't play.
Okay.
And I don't want to. All I want to see is Rondo is hold up a clipboard. That's all I want to see him do in the playoffs. And I don't mean to be like mean, but I just want to see Coach Rondo. That's it.
Oh my God. Poor Rondo. That was so mean.
Anyways, this has been a blast. We're going to leave King Watch LA on that. And we're going to go ahead and see you guys next time. Thank you guys for tuning in.